Hey, what's going on, y'all? Welcome to a new episode of Late Night Lake Show's Fast Break. It is your hosts, Ricky and Alex. We're here for a good time, not a long time, so let's just get right into it. The news of the day, the news to start out your work week. Adrian Wojnarowski, fresh off the Lakers, picking up their first win of the season. Thank the Lord for that. He drops his interview with Pacers center Myles Turner, and in which it all intents and purposes sounds like Myles Turner advocating and openly discussing the potential of him being traded to the Los Angeles Lakers at some point this season. Alex, what the hell went through your mind when you saw this quote on the timeline? Because I'm going to be honest, bro, I had to make sure that this was not a Ballsack Sports article. What was your reaction when you read the Myles Turner's quote and listening back to his interview on the Adrian Wojnarowski pod?
Yo, I saw your tweet, and I tweeted you. I was like, yo, is this real? Like, because it did.
Right.
To your point, like there was just no way that was real. And then I found the Woj podcast and listened to that portion, and I said, wait, did he just publicly advocate for the Lakers to trade for him? Like, make all the connections you want to say, AD wearing that's all folk shirt. That was all speculation. Like, it was speculation with Paul George wanting to be a Laker. That was all speculation. We ain't never seen a dude go on Adrian Wojnarowski's podcast and outright essentially say, here's my resume. Here's why said team should trade for me.
Right.
Like,
and it wasn't even the funny thing. I know you don't mean it that way. It wasn't a said team thing. Never in the history of sports have you really seen a player put names on paper and put names on the art. Not only did he mention the Lakers, he mentioned LeBron James. He mentioned his greatness and how much expectations would rise once you get out of the Midwest and into larger market cities like Los Angeles. Bro, he touched on them all. He damn near said everything short of, if I had to buy a house, I would prefer Calabasas, but I would settle, for some other areas. But where do you go? Where do we go from here? What happens next? Obviously, Indiana has a growing situation on their hands. I don't think people really talk about that. Is this clearly Indy is not getting the offers from Myles Turner around the league that they would expect for his services. And now you turn around and hear all summer about how it's going to take 2 firsts, not one, but both firsts to get him and Buddy Hield on the team. And now we're here today on Halloween, October 31st, year of our Lord 2022. And it feels like it's going to take less than what the big pot of 2 first-round picks and honestly Russell Westbrook's contract to bring in a guy like Myles Turner. Let's talk a little trade options here. Alex, what are you feeling, man? After all these quotes, after all this firestorm of information, and the Lakers still, needing to upgrade their roster even after last night's win, where are you sitting at with the Myles Turner's trade package, brother?
I mean, look, here's the way I see it. Buddy Hield aside, right? I mean, Myles just made it really difficult for Indiana to trade him pretty much anywhere. But Indiana caused this situation for themselves. Like, they went out and tried to sign, what's the boy from Phoenix?
Oh yeah, Ayton. They signed him to a full sheet.
They signed Ayton to an offer sheet, basically telling everybody that meant Myles Turner was going to be out the door, right? But Phoenix, right. I mean, they set the stage for this. Phoenix matches the offer sheet. Myles is still there in Indiana. No extension is signed. You have Indiana on this youth movement. They got a lot of young guys that, now, how in the hell do you come into practice today and one of your starters has just said, I want to go to LA? I mean, you have a young team. You have to trade him. Now, what do you get for him? And this is where we bring back in Buddy Hield. The only way Indiana takes back Russell Westbrook is if you're shipping out Buddy Hield and Myles Turner, because salaries won't work.
Exactly.
So if you're just going for Myles Turner, I know you're going to touch on this. Our guy Vinay talked about it on Twitter. Like, at this point, man, what? Pat Bev and a minimum salary? Insert whatever minimum salary? Maybe a second? And I have a listing of all of the second-round picks that the Lakers own.
It's a treasure trove, right?
Not getting a
for
first.
second-round picks, right?
Right. Indiana's clearly not getting a first, or they would have already sold, already traded him off.
Mm-hmm.
He's saying LA. So now, if you're another team, again, do you take the risk of trading for him if he's going to try and bolt to LA, who has all this cap space next season too?
Uh,
Dangerous game, man.
It is a sticky situation for the good folks in this state of Indiana. I don't I I'm a little cautious about getting too optimistic of the Lakers not in some way overpaying for Myles Turner if a trade does happen, right? With everything we have seen of this front office the last couple of years, it's that they're gonna give up some form of the cheeks in any transaction, right? Even their latest one, right? For Patrick Beverly, you end up giving up THT, and it's like, brother, Patrick Beverly, besides, being a veteran and a locker room kind of guy, that hasn't been too sexy of a acquisition so far. Are the Lakers at the point now where they're like, you know what? I've seen enough. Let's go ahead and attach his contract with 2 second-round picks. Is 3 second-round picks enough? Look, we all want to hold on to those firsts, right? And we all are now starting to think about, let's get a little greedy here and discussing this scenario. Can you hold on to Russell Westbrook, the contract, and those 2 first-round picks for something a little juicier down the road while still improving the roster today by trading for Myles Turner for a player that hasn't necessarily lived up to, the minimal hype that he had when the Lakers first acquired Patrick Beverly? I would I would say obviously that is a perfect situation, right? But Myles Turner is not getting traded around the league for a first round pick, as we've said. Would you do Patrick Beverly in a first for Myles Turner if you knew Myles Turner would commit long term to the team?
Yeah, get it done. Stop fooling around, right? I mean, the whole reason you keep those 2027, 2029 draft picks is shit. You're not getting Shaq and Kobe or Kareem and Magic. You
Mhm.
hope to draft the Myles Turner, at least the Myles Turner in
Right.
2027, 2029, right? Like, let's just be realistic about those picks. And so if he's willing to commit long term, yeah, you absolutely you make the move. And my thing is the beauty about potentially keeping Russ, at least in the short term, when
Yep.
you trade for Myles Turner, is that not only does Turner maximize Anthony Davis and LeBron, he fucking he maximizes Russell Westbrook. He's the kind of big that spaces the floor for Russell Westbrook. So
Right.
Russ is going to lead those bench units. When AD and LeBron go to the bench, maybe Miles is out there for 5 minutes with him, spacing the floor. Like, this is so ideal. What are we waiting on?
It, and to your point, I think you were getting into it right, man. Not only does he maximize Anthony Davis by sliding him down a position, and as we've seen,
Yep.
AD's going to be he's everybody, AD's going to be dealing with a back the entire season. Let's just
Way to
all
look.
settle in. He's going to be rubbing that back. He's going to probably, sit out a couple of games every here and there. Guys, we've been here way too long to still get, hurt by Anthony Davis, nicks and bruises. Let's just buckle up for that. But in the scenario where Anthony Davis does miss time, Myles Turner is your 5. You're still a competitive basketball team. I like what they're talking about in the San Antonio packages, mostly because when you pick up those teams, you get a big ass trade exception, but those players are not supplementing Anthony Davis if AD needs to go down. Lakers lineups are back to kind of being booty cheeks, even when you throw those new guys in. An Indiana
Hey,
trade, yeah, go ahead.
and not only is he protection for AD missing games, Miles Turner gives AD a couple extra minutes on the bench every game.
Yes, sir.
Like those extra minutes help, man.
All right, we're daydreaming. Let's wake up for a second. Do you believe Myles Turner will be a Los Angeles Laker this season? And do you think this is something that probably gets done sooner rather than later? And later, let's just put Christmas time or beyond.
Uh, I'll say yes. I do think he becomes a Laker. I think sooner, depending on how Adam Silver deals with this whole podcast shit,
Right?
right?
Hey, Woj is a bandit for that. He moving like he Pac out here. I don't know
Yeah.
if you can tamper with yourself, but
I mean, remember the Lakers already. I know it might have just been Magic, but Magic and Rob Pelinka, they did get fined for tampering with Paul George when he was in Indiana. So I would imagine
right.
the Pacers are going to want to make sure that Rob wasn't somehow going behind the scenes and talking to Myles' agent, assuming there's just no funny business that we have to then deal with. Yeah, and I'd say by Thanksgiving,
Mm.
if the Lakers are still hovering around, if they've only won 4 or 5 games since 10 games since Thanksgiving, by Thanksgiving, like how long can you play? How long can you let this go on, man? You know what I'm saying? Like how long? I'd say by Thanksgiving. I'll even go even further. I think he's a Laker by the end of the week.
Bing, bing,
We've
bing,
never seen
bing.
a player outright. When you listed what he said, did he not sound like a Laker fanboy on Twitter?
He did.
Listing like every single thing that we talk about as Laker fans.
Shoot, he might be in our spaces, to be honest with you, under his burner account. You never know. And when he mentions Guru and Stace in his next interview, that's when we know we got him. We got him, folks. Whoo, Alex, I like that. You're gonna rev up the nation with that one. All right, all right. That would be a lovely way for us to transition from such a rocky start to the season. Real quick, Genie's not off the hook. Rob's not off the hook.
Nope.
One win and one big rumor later, their feet should still be to the fire. They ducked out of the Mikan jersey retirement. They sent Big Game James out there, and the Lakers fans would have booed them, would have booed the shit out of them. So,
Yep.
there is still moves to be made. There's still a promise from Rob to LeBron about doing everything they can to maximize this roster while he's here. It'd be a hell of a first step taking the guy that's doing pretty much a job interview on a podcast to join your organization. I don't know what other type of incentive that you need. I wouldn't
Can
go
I ask you
over.
this?
Yeah, yep.
Is it a little peculiar to you that this news came out, this podcast dropped the day after the Lakers got their first win and Russell Westbrook played well and like all this stuff, right? Like that's not odd to you?
Yeah, no, I think it is beautiful timing and just a wonderful coincidence, man. Now, obviously, they had to record this,
Right.
a day ago, 2 days ago. So, we'll give Woj the benefit of the doubt that he is an excellent, excellent timer when his podcasts drop. Um, Real quick, I think that a Myles Turner trade is more likely than not. I think that the Lakers are probably going to be 15 games in before we see a move. I get one good game of Russ off the bench, and now I'm like, well, maybe this could be a thing. But damn it, if you got to upgrade the roster today and it ends up being a Russell Westbrook trade, so be it. I think we're gonna cook a little bit. I like Thanksgiving. I like that Thanksgiving time, but no, I endorse it. I endorse an end of the week Myles Turner trade to the Lake Show. And then we start having fun again, folks. That's all Lakers fans want to do. Clearly, Myles
That's all we
Turner
want.
understands. You come here, extra pressure. You play bad, we're going to talk about it. You play good, we're going to talk about it. Welcome to the biggest franchise in basketball. There we go. All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all rocking with us from this episode of the Late Night Lake Show's Fast Break. If you're not already, hit that subscribe button. We're going to try to pop these out as soon as news breaks. Yeah, that's it. For Alex, it's Ricky. We'll see y'all on the timeline. Peace.
Peace.